In an effort to make my life harder and my photography worse, I have decided to create a terrible Frankenstein's monster of a camera setup. You know what's overrated? Sharp lenses and autofocus. You know what's underrated? Out of focus missed shots, vintage lens characteristics, and pretentious douchebags like me who think that just because we're not using the latest and greatest G Master lenses with time-bending and mind-reading autofocus, we're creating real art and you're just a tourist in our industry. All jokes aside, I've been really loving my Nikon ZF and my vintage manual focus lenses. A few weeks ago, I made a video about this, This vintage this vintage Zeiss lens that I've been using on my Fujifilm X-T5. And before that, I made a video about my first impressions on my new Nikon ZF. And before that, I made a video about why I've been diving more into the manual focus photography experience. So this week, all those videos are culminating in this unholy abomination of a pretentious looking camera, old-ass lenses, and one not quite old-ass lens, and one too many lens adapters. What's up? My name is Walter. I am a photographer and commercial filmmaker based here in the southeastern United States. That's the first time I've been able to say the intro all the way through without stumbling or stuttering once. I'm incredible at YouTube. In case you missed my video about this lens, the Carl Zeiss Jena, I pronounced it right this time, Pancolor 50mm 1.8, I'd encourage you to go check that video out to get a fuller picture of how I feel about this lens and what it's capable of. Since that video, I've also picked up the Zeiss 35mm 2.4 Flectagon, crazy name. A pretty similar lens to the Pancolor 50mm 1.8. Obviously different focal length, different aperture, but characteristics and all of that are pretty similar between the two. Both of these lenses are super fun. They strike a pretty good balance between vintage characteristics and sharpness, and they're also both M42 screw mount lenses, meaning that they're obviously not made for any modern cameras that you'd probably buy today, which means that if you want to use these lenses on your mirrorless camera today, you'll need some kind of adapter to do so. This is where this setup starts to get stupid, so bear with me for a minute while I give you all the relevant context. When I first got the Nikon ZF, I got just one lens with it, the Voigtlander 40mm 1.2. I laid this out in my first impressions about the camera, but this particular camera and lens combo was a very intentional decision as they work very harmoniously together. This lens, while it actually is a modern lens, it came out within the past few years, actually looks pretty vintage, and it is manual focus only. It does come in a native Z mount, specifically for mirrorless Nikon cameras, but I opted for the Leica M version of this lens. This was so that I could have the option to use this same lens for video on one of my Sony cameras if I wanted to do that, or even to like adapt it to my Fujifilm X-T5 if I wanted to do that either. But I got the Nikon ZF largely for its robust, I love that word robust, I use it all the time, for its robust manual focus assist features. So I needed an adapter that would allow me to actually utilize those features, because if you use like any kind of like a dumb, they call it dumb adapters, it doesn't have like, you lose some of those manual focus features that the Nikon ZF has if you're adapting lenses through that. This led me to the TT Artisan 6-bit adapter, a more advanced adapter that includes electronic contacts to fully unlock focus confirmation and trap focus on the ZF, even with lenses that don't have those electronic contacts natively. And this works extremely well with this M-mount Voigtlander lens on the Nikon ZF. And I've gotten to the point where I can be as fast and sometimes faster with manual focus on the Nikon ZF than I can be with autofocus on either one of my Sony cameras, which is really saying something because Sony is obviously known for their state-of-the-art autofocus. I also don't mean that as like a flex. I'm like, oh, look how good I am at focusing. It's just that like, that's how good the manual focus assist features are on the ZF. Now, what about those old Zeiss lenses I was talking about earlier? I originally got this Zeiss Pancolor 50mm 1.8 to use on my Fuji X-T5 with a speed booster, which again, I made a whole video about that, and feel free to go check that out. That is still a really great combo that I love the results from, but I was very curious about how this old M42 mount lens would do on my Nikon ZF. So I got another adapter, this time an M42 to M mount adapter stacked onto the TT Artisan 6-bit adapter. And I could have easily gotten just an M42 to Z mount adapter, it would have been fine, but I would be losing out on those ever so useful electronic contacts that are in that TT Artisan 6-bit adapter. With this combo, I now have full use of my M42 lenses, both the 50mm here and the 35 Flectagon, on both my Fujifilm X-T5 and my Nikon ZF. Before I keep going, I need to interrupt this week's video with a very special sponsor, which is myself. Yay! If you like all the photos you've seen in this video, specifically the colors you see in them, I have very good news. You can purchase my preset pack called Bougie Film through the link in the description of this video. The Bougie Film preset pack includes Bougie Film Astia, Bougie Film Chrome, Bougie Film Superior and Superior Light, Bougie Film Acros, and Bougie Film Simple, and all of these handcrafted presets made by yours truly are made to bring your images from dull and flat to punchy and exciting. The whole preset pack is $20 on my website, but if you use code BougieFilmIsGood, you can take a whole $5 off and get the whole thing for only $15. You can also get the Bougie Film Chrome preset on its own completely for free on my website as well. No strings attached on that one. So if you want to just try out that preset before you buy the whole pack, you're more than welcome to do so. And you are also welcome to only download Chrome for free and then go on about your merry way. Consider it my gift to you. Okay, back to the video. So after all that mess, what is my actual Nikon ZF setup as of right now? I obviously still have that M-mount Voigtlander 40mm 1.2 adapted with the TT Artisan 6-bit M to Z adapter. And now I also have the M42 Zeiss Jena Pancolor 50mm 1.8 and the M42 Zeiss 35mm 2.4 Flectagon, still love that word, which are both adapted to with an M42 to M-mount adapter, make sure I get this right, which is then stacked on top of the M to Z TT Artisan 6-bit adapter. Why do I do all of this? It's because I crave the challenge, dude. No, really it's because I just love the look that I'm getting from all three of these lenses. Each one has its own style and character, and therefore each brings something unique to the table, to the point where I'm easily able to pick and choose which lens I know will work best in different scenarios. Like the Voigtlander, for example, is the one that I'll always grab when I want the most subject separation wide open at 1.2. It's a pretty crazy look. It's almost like a medium format type look. Or the sharpest images when it's stopped down a little bit, because as soon as it gets like f2 and beyond, it's stupid sharp. It looks just, I mean, like, it's almost too sharp sometimes. It's one of the reasons I started getting into vintage lenses, because I just don't love how sharp a lot of modern lenses are. But when I do want or need that look, I have the Voigtlander for that. And I'll grab one of these vintage Zeisses when I know that I want some more vintage character. I'm able to have a softer, more filmic type of look. Maybe some of that interesting bokeh that I get on the 50mm, or more versatility with that 35mm Flectagon. I'm really liking how my Nikon ZF setup is taking shape since I first picked it up a few months ago, and I'm definitely interested in grabbing some more vintage lenses for it. So if you have any suggestions for me there, feel free to drop them in the comments. I would love something wider than 35. I've looked at a few 28mm lenses, but I haven't seen anything that's like really compelled me to click buy on eBay on anything quite yet. So again, any suggestions there, please let me know. I'd also love to get like a more portrait lens, like a 85 or a 90mm or something. Get some more reach, a lot more compression if I want to shoot something like that. So again, suggestions on that, you know where to leave them. And if you have any other requests for things you want me to try with the Nikon ZF, or otherwise any related questions about the Nikon ZF, you can also let me know about that in the comments as well. I'm pretty excited to test out this whole setup at a wedding I have at the end of this month up near Boston. So be on the lookout for maybe some behind the scenes footage from that one, where I'm really going to put this camera, but both the Nikon ZF and my X-T5, through its paces and see if all this manual focus sorcery can keep up with something like a wedding day. But that's it. So thank you for watching. Appreciate all the support that I've been seeing on my channel. It's really cool to see. This is super fun. So as long as I keep getting good feedback from people, I will keep doing this. Again, if you want to support me further, you can leave comments like I mentioned. You can leave a like on this video. You can subscribe, all that good stuff. If you don't want to do any of that, that's totally fine, because I will see you in the algorithm in 6 months.